Good evening. How are you all doing on this Saturday? Hey, Clark, how are you doing, honey? How are you doing, Sister Ruby? Thank you so much for your well wishes. I am on the mend. I'm still a little congested, but not nearly as congested as I was. I'm still having a fever here and there, but it's not as bad as it's been previously. I feel a lot better in comparison to how I felt last Saturday. So thank you so much, Sister Ruby. I hope everything is going good with you, um, and you're doing okay, honey. And how's your dad doing, Sister Ruby? Clark, I thought about you too. I think I mentioned it in the video. I could be wrong, but it's good to see you down in the comments, lady. I hope you've enjoyed your summer, honey, and had a glorious, glorious summer. Um, you posed the question. You said, "How can you find this information to present to us?" And this lady didn't know it. Today, I had the opportunity to peruse a bit and present some conversation talking points and have a dialogue with some citizens to kind of see what were their views and opinions on the Hyundai plant, you know, ice rate and everything. I am shocked by how many of them don't know what they're talking about. I'm shocked by how many vloggers, bloggers, TikToks, Facebooks, Snapchat, YouTube, and any other social media they're listening to and they're consuming misinformation and repeating that misinformation. Honey, they are wide open, believing, barrel chested, and big mouthed as usual that these employees were being paid some kind of pennies on the dollar like they were at a sweatshop. Yes, they were under the impression that these employees who were um, taken by ICE were some type of uneducated, almost like modern slavery working in the plant. They have no idea that these are grad school educated employees. We're talking about STEM. I cannot wrap my head around the fact that they don't understand that the plant is for a new method of energy for vehicles, but the energy model they're using and the technology is not only viable for their vehicles, it can also be used for other things as well. They didn't know that. They're on there talking about sheets of metal and all of this stuff. It's a battery plant for Hyundai for their car batteries. It's not a plant for mainframe. What I call mainframe, I'm talking about the actual cars itself. That's not what that plant was or is, excuse me. I am downright. What time is it now? Oh my goodness, it's almost 6. I gotta hurry up. I am flabbergasted that they didn't know and they don't know what the plant was and what they're doing, what they're producing and what they're working on. I am I am not kidding you when I say these have to be the dumbest people in this country. They have to be the dumbest people in our entire nation. And what's alarming to me is that I came to the following realization: they're not smart enough for those jobs. And what they were pissed about is that they weren't seeing enough of their demographic, older, middle class, uneducated people getting the jobs because they're not familiar with modern technology. So they weren't good candidates and they weren't smart enough to go get the training for it. So their mind, they've been thinking it's like an industrial revolution, like back, you know, I, I girl, I can't find words for it. They are the dumbest people I've ever had a conversation with in my life. I am Southern, all right? I am Southern, very proud to be Southern, raised that way. But thanks to life experiences, I've lived internationally and things. And, just now within the past, I mean, coming up in December will be 5 years since I've been trying to reintegrate back into the civilian population. And, well, no, it's not even 5 years, it's 4 years. So, I'm still getting used to a lot of things about how civilians move about and, do things, right? But anyway, I'm realizing that they are just dumb. Now, I'm Southern. I use very bad grammar and all of that. But let me tell you, one thing is for certain, and two things are for sure. You can't flex me, you can't fight me, and you can't beat me when it comes to this business thing. Period. Period. You can't fight my results. You can't fight me on that. You can't fight me on policy. You can't fight me on what I know. You can't fight me on international commerce. You cannot. And I am what I am when it comes to the kind of work I do, right? I know what I know. I'm very good at what I know, right? And I they don't know anything. All right. So it's one thing, the reason I mention that, it's one thing to be very laxed in your communication when you're having a social conversation, right? It's one thing to have bad grammar and be judged on that. It's another thing to know the product, is another thing to know how to produce, right? Those are two totally different things. Now, you could be a slack jawed yokel, you could be an Appalachia hillbilly, and they can care less when it come down to the results. Do you know what you know? That's what they really want to know, right? And they don't know anything, and that's been proven. It is scary to me that after having very intense back and forth and dialogue with large populations of people today on this topic, thousands of them today, I don't foresee Hyundai staying in the region. I don't. I don't. I do not see them staying because of the culture that's down there in that region. And it is bad. And this kind of thing is not going to stop. There's too many of them. I can't imagine what in the entire world Brian Kemp is thinking right now, because I know he has been chopped to his knees. Like, I'm pretty sure this is he already know across the board this has messed them up economically. Another thing you can tell that this band of morons, they also don't realize that down there in that region, they already have a lot of international people working in that area on that same visa, not just at Amazon, but you also have Gulfstream down there too, which is an international private aircraft manufacturer. They're down there in Coastal Georgia, right? You also have Lockheed Martin, also another big boy when it comes to international businesses and military defense contracts as well. And they have people who are employed with those same visas. The problem is with those citizens, those Korean nationals who were taken, their subcontractor did not do their job. Even American contractors who are living abroad and expats, their subcontractors stay on top of their paperwork to make sure you can stay in the country to work. If that paperwork is messed up, they are on you, on you, on you, on you to make sure that it's good. And that's part of the agreement with the employer. So, with that said, I just the way they're processing this, they don't know what's going on. Now it makes sense why this woman did this. They are not wrapped tight at all. After this conversation, they are even more dangerous. You can tell they've been listening to all of this rhetoric about immigrants to the point they don't even know their own country laws, rules, regulations, and nothing. They don't know anything. They don't, man, honey, if I copy and paste some of the things these people were saying, honey, it would scare you. They really believed what they were saying. Oh, I don't like Hyundai. They shouldn't have bought those people into Georgia taking our jobs, taking our jobs. They provided 8,000. See, the thing is, people don't know how to count. Let me show you something. When they're talking about the 8,000 jobs, they are talking about the 8,000 who were going to be on site at that plant. They are not including the other thousands of jobs associated with the other contractors and the other vendors. They're not even counting those. They're not even counting the number of businesses that would be started because of the influx of money and people have needs, right? Because they're working at that plant. They are not smart people, guys. And I can admit, having this conversation today, honey, I wouldn't do business down there. I mean, if I were Hyundai, man, if I could find a way to sell that whole goddamn whatever to somebody else, I would and get out. I would just pull the contract altogether. I would just shut it down and leave because they don't have good sense. They're slow. They crazy. Like I had no idea how deep it went and how they believe the rhetoric. And when you try to tell them things and explain it to them, they only want to argue and come back with more misinformation. And then they start insulting you and attacking you and berating you and calling you like leftists and all of this stuff. It is crazy. Crazy. I mean, I hate to say it, but on the other hand, from a real place, um, the way they think, they perfect people to make money off of. Man, let me tell you something. The way those people think, they are born and bred to be consumers. You would make money off of them just by sleeping and breathing. It's too easy because of the way they think. Anyone could come into the region and dominate with no problems, to be honest with you. Anyone. It would be really hard to find good. Oh my God, that makes sense. I just thought about something. Oh my God. You know, they were talking about having a rail system go from Savannah to Atlanta, and now I see why. Because if you have all of these highly skilled, trained, educated people, refined people working down there, they're gonna wanna go to Atlanta a lot, for the weekends, maybe even for business, and of course for meetings and things. Oh, wow. And yeah, international flights. Hop on there. Oh, wow. Yeah, they were talking about that rapid, almost like a bullet train concept leaving out of Savannah going into Atlanta. And then they were talking about another one in South Carolina. And then they're already doing it down here in Florida, a similar model, but it's not as fast. But we already have one. Oh my God, they done messed that up too. Lord Jesus. You know what? Earl Carter was right. Sin will make you stupid. You see this? Lord. I'm just thinking about the domino effect now on a deeper scale. This is a lot of money. Oh my God. I know Brian Kemp somewhere sick. I know he's somewhere sick, honey. I know what is his name? What is his name? He if I'm not mistaken, that's their congressman for their area. Buddy Carter. I don't know if that's Carter's district. It may not be. It may not be because Carter, I know he down there in I know he down there in Brunswick and down there with St. Simon Island and stuff. He down there. So but I'm sure he has some influence. I know he is mad as hell. Now he is a Republican too. His name is Buddy Carter. But I know one thing for certain. I've met him before, and I've met his wife. And one thing I know for sure by looking at that lady hand, that man like money. And I'm talking about real money. I'm talking about commas and zeros abounding money. Okay. I don't know what he used to do for a living, but that man like money, money. His wife like money, money, money. Okay. All right. And I know he is pissed off if something like because of something like this, and he know money. If he don't know nothing else, Buddy Carter do know money. But Lord Jesus, this is bad. Lord have mercy. I ain't, oh Lord. Look, all I can tell you is that, and then why would she do that when I just thought about something else? You have that port right there in Savannah, and they were talking about when we started coming down looking to buy a house, they're trying to make that Savannah port the largest one on the eastern seaboard altogether for international imports and exports. I was excited about that because I was like, Good, then I can bring my stuff into, Savannah port cheaper." So that's how I ended up getting linked up with that port right there for my stuff, and for so the drive from Jax to Savannah ain't bad. You get what I'm saying? Especially when you have inventory that's gonna make itself all the way, from South Carolina, then going to Tennessee, going to Texas, and going on up to Boston. That's easy. That's a no-brainer and it's cheaper. But this lady, I guess she don't realize all of them people come from all over the world on that water and they be right there in Savannah. Wow, this ain't good, y'all. But I don't see them coming back just because of the way they are, Koreans. I I don't see them wanting to continue operations in the region. I know I wouldn't personally. Not after something like this. I mean, I had no idea they were this bad though, y'all. Like I I didn't realize it was this bad. Like they still had an opportunity to be employed, not only employed, but make money. Because even if you're not into tech, you could have been doing something with them building all them houses and subdivisions. You could have been doing something with repairing something. I told you we went to the National Conference of America Home Builders back in 2020, honey, and they were begging for carpenters, begging for plumbers, begging for these people because we just don't have enough of them. We just don't. And then the builders were willing to start paying them more money. Lord have mercy. Let me get off here, y'all. I gotta go. I didn't even realize it's almost 6 o'clock. I have to come back and finish this up. But wow, they, like Girl, honey, make America great again, girl. She don't went and cost them people all them jobs and money. They trying to make that region poor again. That's what she trying to do. Like, how could you be so stupid? Really? Really? Honey, I'll be back. Chop it up. Bye, y'all.